All right, guys, we are gathered again today for UFC 329 International Fight Week, a fight card we've all been waiting for. Honestly, maybe I was a little bit more excited about this one than maybe even UFC Freedom 250. Maybe it's a pretty good card. We have the Morgans from Fearless Wrestling joining us again today, and we have Tommy Gunn's remote in as well. Guys,
What's
how have
going on?
y'all been?
Feeling good. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing good. Tommy, how are you at your remote location?
The Tommy Cave is nice and warm this time of year. Doing
Hell yeah,
well.
hell yeah. Do you guys, I ask every time, do we have any fight news?
Our names are in the hat, per usual. We're trying. So, end
I
of
think you're
August.
just scaring
So,
off all your opponents.
I don't know what
It's these shows, man. I'm telling you,
We need
they
we
know
need to
they
get
know we're
y'all
too
on.
good.
We're gonna have to put in like 8 submissions to the Ultimate Fighter, just constant tapes like the real world.
Yeah.
We'll get y'all in there. You've been to Vegas. Justin Gaethje met you, and you saw what he did to Ilya Topuria. I know Chase, you're a big Ilya guy.
Yeah, I mean, it
Is
is
he
what
ever
it
gonna
is.
be the same?
I definitely felt American after he won, though. I mean, everyone can relate to that.
For sure. His face is already healed. They posted that the other day. That's good news. But all three of you had a very hot Freedom 250. I didn't have as much, but it happens. Every gambler has a bad day. But we're at International Fight Week. It's time to rebound. Hopefully next year I'm at the event again because I want to return for that one. That's an exciting one. But we're going to go ahead and start with our first matchup.
We open the UFC 329 main card with a lightweight clash between two men who do not require much of a feeling out process. On one side, King Green, the veteran, the volume striker, the 54-fight professional with a record of 35-17-1 with one no contest. Even at 39 years old, Green continues to bring pressure, pace, and experience few fighters in this division can match. He lands 646 significant strikes per minute, carries a 53% striking accuracy, and comes in off 3 wins in his last 5. Across from him, Terrence T-Rex McKinney, 18-8, still one of the most explosive first-round threats in the lightweight division. McKinney lands at an even higher clip, but the danger does not stop on the feet. He's also a talented wrestler who was finished by submission. All 18 of his wins coming by finish. King Green, Terrence McKinney lightweight action to kick off the main card. Let's get to the pick.
This week there's been a lot of talk from King Green that he felt this matchup was unnecessary because McKinney's record and current ranking has nothing to offer him. They're friends, so it was kind of unneeded. But McKinney actually asked for the fight, and so did his camp. Guys, how are y'all feeling about this matchup between former friends?
I think it's interesting. I think King Green is kind of going off on a little bit of like a weak spot where he's kind of exposing himself, saying that they were once friends, and he kind of doesn't want this to happen. I think Terrence McKinney is going to come out and be a little bit more hungry, in my opinion. So I'm anxious to see. I like King Green's new shorts, but I don't know if that will help him in the fight. I think Terrence McKinney will put his foot on the gas and get something done in the first round, in my opinion.
What I would like to add is when has he not put his foot on the gas? It's
That's
cost him
true.
fights and it's won him fights.
That's true.
I don't know. I see it opposite. I think King Green's going to kind of unk him. These are two brothers, and they're at the cookout. And if anyone knows that, they're not going. The unk does never goes down to the nephew. So I got King Green, and I got it by unanimous decision. He's just going to outstrike him, outclass him, just like he did, just like King did against Jim Miller, UFC 300. I see the same type of fight. And then I don't know, Terrence can drop too though. So I see King either by unanimous decision or by finish in round 2. It won't be long.
I'm
Oh, God,
personally
here.
feeling Terrence on this one. That's because this is July. In July, we do not celebrate kings at all. We make it a big deal how we broke away from the king whole monarch thing. So I don't think you can root for a king. It's illegal. Perhaps it's in the Constitution. Maybe. Who knows? Who can read? Terrence is younger and better grappler. I think there's going to be a big play into it. I think it's going to also come down to the fact Terrence has never won by a decision. So I think this is honestly a no-brainer, a no decision. In fact, that it ends in a decision. It'll be the first one he's ever won by. So I'm taking Terrence by points.
You have a lot of good points there, everyone. I am going with. All right, I'll just talk about what my thought process is. Terrence McKinney is a very exciting fighter. That's honestly what's kept him around. His record in the UFC has not been what's keeping him around. In his losses, he loses the exact same way every time. He doesn't get the finish when he does his little flurry in the first round, and then after that, he has a cinder block. He just falls. He can't swing, he can't block. absolutely is just a rock sitting in there. But this rock can be knocked out because he has been. I'm going with King Green here because his chin only has to hold up for the first round, and then McKinney will have nothing to offer him to even survive the second round. I'm going King Green in under 2 rounds. Under 2 rounds. It will not start the third. Go ahead and get to the next matchup. That pick can be as quick as the matchup's probably going to be. The next one I think is a pretty exciting one.
Next up on the UFC 329 main card, the flyweights take center stage. On one side, Brandon Raw Dog Royval, the proven contender, battle-tested against the very best this division has to offer. At 17-9, Royval brings length, pace, and chaos to every fight. He lands 5.54 significant strikes per minute, owns 9 career submission wins, and has made a career out of turning scrambles into danger. Across from him, Loner Kavanagh, 10-1, one of the division's fastest rising names. At just 27 years old, Kavanagh has already shown poise beyond his experience, coming in with wins over Brandon Moreno, Felipe Dos Santos, Jose Ochoa, and Tuan Ho in his last 5. He brings cleaner accuracy at 48%, better striking defense at 56%, and a massive 94% takedown defense. Brandon Royval, Loner Kavanagh. Flyweight stakes are high. Let's get to the pick.
I was introduced to Loner Kavanagh when he fought Moreno last. I really hadn't heard about him before then, but he impressed me a lot in that matchup. He outboxed Brandon Moreno, who is a very good boxer from Mexican boxer actually, out of Tijuana. Brandon Royval does have a recent win against Moreno, but I think that was a decision, and Loner finished Moreno. He's also on a 4-1 streak in his last 5, only losing to Charles Johnson. I like Loner here. I'm going with Loner by decision, just because Royval's been known to hang around for decisions frequently. But I think Kavanaugh's just going to be a little too much for him, a little too young, fast, and he's just kind of, he has that mentality of like telling himself he's the underdog, so he stays in the fight the whole time. I think even where he's so young, if he was up 2 rounds, he would still be swinging in the third. So I'm going Loner Kavanagh money line.
I agree with you, Jay. I'm going to say the exact same thing and keep it simple. I think Loner is up and coming, and I've been watching Loner since he first started. I actually watched him get beat by Charles Johnson, and it was a fluke in my opinion. He did get caught. He was winning that fight, but yeah, same finish. Bet the money line.
I'm going opposite. I think Royval has experience over Kavanagh. I think he's been up there in the rankings. Loner hasn't, and just like Chase said, that Charles Johnson fight kind of gave me some signs that maybe he needs to keep showing his experience and his levels. Moreno, that was a good win over Moreno, but I think Moreno, we could arguably say he's a little bit washed. So I see Royval taking it all 3 rounds and just squeaking by with a decision.
He also has a win over Jose Ochoa, who's a up-and-comer in that division as well. Tommy, what are you feeling?
I agree with that. I'm taking Royval too. He is an American. It's kind of like the last fight. He's getting that American 4th of July kind of boost. All the Americans are going to fight better in this one. He has more experience, and Robert Duvall and Ryan Royval are very similar sounding names, and I really like The Godfather too. I think that has a lot to do with it. So I'm taking Royval. I'm going to take just the win money line as well.
Amen.
Will this be the only Kavanagh I take for a win tonight? Maybe not. Connor's coach is Kavanagh.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our third fight.
Next up on the UFC 329 main card, bantamweights take the stage in a high-level matchup between 2 fighters who know each other very well. On one side, Corey Sandhagen, 18-6, one of the most creative and battle-tested strikers in the division. At 5'11" with a 70-inch reach, Sandhagen brings length, movement, and a championship-level resume. He lands 4.86 significant strikes per minute, owns 8 knockout wins, and has shared the cage with some of the very best bantamweights in the world. Across from him, Mario Bautista, 17-3, comes in with momentum and a well-rounded skill set. Bautista lands at a slightly higher pace, 530 significant strikes per minute, has 7 submission wins and averages 1.91 takedowns per 50 minutes. His last 5 include wins over Vinicius Oliveira, Patchy Mix, Jose Aldo, and Ricky Simon. Corey Sandhagen, Mario Bautista! A pivotal bantamweight fight on the UFC 329 main card. Let's get to the pick. Next up on the UFC 329 main card, we stay at lightweight for a matchup with violence written all over it.
Matchup between Sandhagen and Bautista. Tommy, why don't you go first on this one?
Okay. I'm taking Corey Sandhagen on this one. Corey has 1 extra inch of reach, and as my wife has said many times, I wish you had just 1 extra inch. So I know how important it is. So that cannot be understated.
Genius.
Corey also has way more losses under his belt, and everyone knows defeat is the best teacher there is. So without many losses, he's way more experienced. He knows what to expect. And he has a higher takedown defense. I think that's going to be a big factor in keeping him off the ground and letting him control the ring a little bit. I'm taking Corey by decision.
By decision. I'll jump in and go next. I'm thinking the same thing here, Corey Sandhagen. There's not much of a discrepancy in age. Corey is a little bit taller and has the reach advantage. And honestly, if you had to pair them up, I'd say that these two are probably the perfect match because they're similar fighters. They're very clean in what they're doing. They hold a high pace. But I think Corey does separate himself a little bit from Bautista in his ability to grapple and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm thinking Corey Sandhagen here. With 3 rounds, definitely the distance by decision. Corey Sandhagen. His last 2 losses and his last 5 are against people who just don't lose. And Umar Nurmagomedov and Merab. Merab's a fucking tank. And Mario also has that loss to Umar. So I'm going with Corey Sandhagen by decision.
I'm going to go the same route just because of what happened in their first fight where Sandhagen just – I mean, he was beating him anywhere and everywhere. And I know Bautista was up and coming at that point, but I think he's in his head a little bit. Bautista's on a good stretch, though. He had a great fight against Oliveira in his last one. And he may be coming out with a different hunger, but I think Sandhagen is just – he's itching. He's already been up there on the top of the rankings, and I think he wants that title shot more than anything. So this is his step up to call out for a title shot. So I'll go Sandhagen by let's say armbar finish again in the second round.
I think I'm going to sweep for 3 with the Parlay boys. Let's go Sandhagen by decision. So I'm with my guys. Bet that.
Let's go.
I see a victory, though, Corey Sandhagen. So, yeah, I mean, Sandhagen's still up there. He's still top 5 in my opinion. And I think another good matchup after he wins this. I still want to see him and Sean, and I know Sean's definitely on his radar too. But Sean might get Peter next, or it might be Corey and Merab. I don't know, but I see Corey winning this, and then we got to discuss the bantamweight title because that's got to be soon.
Yeah, I feel like that's up in the air because I do feel like Merab does deserve an immediate rematch, but
yeah.
Sugar's definitely got his name in the mix, especially after that win at 250. Calling a shot to the exact punch and celebration like 2 days before. Pretty impressive.
The salute.
But I will say, although Bautista does have some good wins recently, his fight against Jose Aldo really was kind of a boring affair. I didn't think it was great. Jose, I think, retired right after that. And he beat Apache Mix that everyone was high on, but no one had seen him fight in the UFC yet, and he's already gone. He's already out of the UFC. So, yeah, I took that into kind of consideration as well. When Corey Sandhagen, even in his losses, he's kind of been impressive. The other guy's just been a little bit better. But, yeah, we got 3 going for Sandhagen. Was it and 1 Bautista?
No, 4.
All 4 Sandhagen? Yeah, because I think that's just clearly the right choice there. And next
up on the UFC 329 main card, we stay at lightweight for a matchup with violence written all over it. On one side, Benoit St. Denis, 17-3 with 1 no contest. The southpaw pressure fighter who has made a career out of breaking opponents with pace, physicality, and grappling. St. Denis lands 5.26 significant strikes per minute, shoots often with 4.19 takedowns per 15 minutes, and owns 11 career submission wins. He enters this one having won 4 of his last 5. Across from him, Paddy the Batty Pimblett, 23-4, one of the sport's biggest personalities, and a dangerous finisher in his own right. Paddy brings 10 submission wins, 7 knockouts, and a striking pace of 5.49 significant strikes landed per minute. He has proven he can survive chaos, create scrambles, and turn momentum fast. For St. Denis, the question is whether he can make this grimy, physical, and relentless for Pimblett. It's about weathering the storm, finding the openings, and making St. Denis pay when the fight gets reckless. Benoit St. Denis, Paddy Pimblett, lightweight firepower on display at International Fight Week. Let's get to the co-main event. A of the evening.
We have the co-main event, a lightweight bout matchup between Benoit St. Denis, I know it's Denis, versus Paddy Pimblett. I don't like Benoit St. Denis. I'll make that abundantly clear, but we'll let the Morgans go first on this one.
I got it.
Chase is gonna he's gonna start a fire here, so we'll let him go.
Cook.
So for the bettors out there, this is a pick'em fight. I think it's going to be Benoit Saint Denis. I'm sorry, Jay, but I see BSD by grappling domination, and he will outclass Paddy on the ground. Maybe not striking, but BSD's takedown rate and takedown defense is like his takedown defense is like 70%, and his takedown offense he's like 5 takedowns to 1. And I think Paddy only shoots like once. And I think his takedown defense is like 20%. I know you're a stat guy, Jay, so don't check me on that. But I don't know. I got the French warming. I see BSD by wrestle domination all 3 rounds. Pick him.
I'm going to flip. I'm flipping on that. I'm going to go Paddy the Batty. I think the jiu-jitsu is what will cover the fight. I think BSD may be a little bit too pressure heavy, like Chase said with his wrestling, and I think he's gonna end up in some kind of triangle. It's maybe like a King Green situation with Paddy where he puts him to sleep. BSD, he's excited. He's always out there like hunting for war, but I think Paddy the Batty is a little bit more technical and he's been doing this longer. So I'm going to go Paddy the Batty triangle and we'll go 3rd round submission.
All right, I'll jump in next. I'm just ready to go. I'm nipping at the bit here. I'm going. It's no secret where I'm going with the pick, but I'll explain. I'm going with Paddy the Batty. He is a bad lad, and he is ready after that Justin Gaethje fight. We know he has the chin because he went 5 rounds with Justin Gaethje. Ilya went 4, and his face fell apart. Paddy's didn't look great, but he hung in there for 5 rounds, didn't quit on the stool, as he has said about Ilya. Also, if you're a fan of Paddy since the Cage Warriors days, he is a hell of a submission artist, and he doesn't need to take you down to do so. He will take the backpack standing. He's also been known to do jumping guillotines, which I think was an issue with Benoit St. Denis when he fought Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Yep. I think Benoit St. Denis needs to be aware of what danger he gets himself into by shooting takedowns on Paddy, and just like because any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy is happy if he's good to have someone in his full guard. Really opens up his submission repertoire. And I'll look at that, a French word for him. Big idiot. But I'm going Paddy the Batty here by finish. I do think it can happen either way because we've seen Benoit knocked out. We've also seen him submit. I don't know. Was Dustin's submission or was it knockout?
It was knockout.
Knockout.
I think.
And Paddy's unconventional, where he used to be trained Benoit in French Special Forces, which is pretty much like being a beat cop in New York, I think. He's used to people fighting like a style cleanly. Paddy's style, he throws from weird angles. He keeps his hands down a lot too, which allows his punches to be a little bit faster. And like I said, he's just unconventional. He's weird, and I think that's how a lot of people struggle with him. But I'm going Paddy the Batty by finish.
What round?
2nd. Tommy, what do you got?
I think this is a classic matchup that goes back hundreds of years. The English and the French just do not like each other. Never have. I mean, they go to war every time they can at a drop of a hat over nothing. And France, having a giant empire with Napoleon and all that, couldn't beat a small island the size of freaking Rhode Island. So I think the French just don't have it in them to beat the English. Paddy gets a national, racism bonus against the French. And so he's got that English surf haircut and style going on like he's the Anglo-Saxon working the field all day. He is tough. He's strong. And I think Jay's right. I think he's going to beat him pretty much standing, whether it's striking or holding him off from the back. I just got Paddy the Batty winning this one, but I think it's going to be a little bit harder of a fight. I'm expecting a 3rd round knockout.
And not one person, even me, stated that Scousers don't get knocked out. That is a quote from the man himself. They do not get knocked out. Justin even said it after their fight. Scousers don't get knocked out. And I think that's a big problem for Benoit. I think Benoit beads are also what people shove up their butts. So that's never good. All right, so we'll go on to the main event.
And now, the UFC 329 main event is upon us. A welterweight showdown with star power, history, and serious questions on both sides. On one side, the notorious Conor McGregor, 22-6, the UFC's first two-division champion, and still one of the most dangerous precision strikers this sport has ever seen. McGregor brings a 74-inch reach, a southpaw stance, and 19 career knockout wins. When he is sharp, the left hand changes everything. Bang! Across from him, Max Blessed Holloway, 27-9, one of the most durable, high-output fighters in UFC history. Holloway lands 6.91 significant strikes per minute, owns 13 decision wins, and has built a career on pace, pressure, volume, and championship rounds. For McGregor, the question is timing, power, and whether he can make the early moments count. For Holloway, it is durability, pressure, and forcing this fight into deep waters where his volume can take over. Conor McGregor! The rematch, the return of the Mac, your main event, Max versus Mac. And the boys' picks are now.
The fight that everyone's been waiting for years, Conor McGregor's return to the ring, clean. I will say, as a fan of Conor since he started in the UFC, I think I can notice when he's on some drugs when he's in his interviews, and I will say he's looked clean in every interview he's been in. He's found religion. Also, I've heard he stayed in the gym, slept at the gym the whole time to kind of avoid distractions and things like that. He looks good, but Max has been active. Max, I have said in past occasions, is one of the cleaner boxers in all of the UFC. I think this weight increase may mess with him a little bit. They're fighting at 170. Anik has said that, I guess, when Max first started out, he had goals of going up to 185 in his career. But he's been in the UFC how long and he's only moved up one weight class to 155 and has not went up any farther than that. So I think there probably is something to that. Plus, having to gain that weight within a short amount of time also can mess with you as well. It's not a normal 10-pound weight jump. It's 15 pounds. Conor's been that weight for a while now, since Diaz, I believe. I think he's probably just more used to it, better muscle built up, and he has something to prove. He's the underdog, which is not a regular thing for Conor. So I think I'm going Conor McGregor here. He's got me back in this fandom. I've been tired of him. That's kind of how Patty took my favorite UFC fighter spot. It was Conor for years, but I think Conor here is coming to make a statement. He said he has one more fight on his UFC contract after this, and then he wants to re-sign with the UFC, which I think is big. Especially with BKFC wanting to get him pretty bad in bare knuckle. But he said he's open to signing with the UFC. That's where he wants to be. He's also had how many years off to heal? His head hasn't taken any shots in that time, when Max has been in wars over that amount of time. So yeah, I'm going with Conor McGregor here. Tommy, what do you got?
I know what the heart wants, but if I'm putting money on it, I'm taking Max. Conor is still just so unproven in these last few years. I mean, beating up Cowboy Cerrone almost loses credibility. His grandmother was there. She had to watch that whole thing. That was so mean. But Max is a tough cookie. He is going to be hitting on Conor. And one of the big things how he lost to Dustin was he got knocked a few times and lost his composure, and Dustin jumped on it. He can't do that with Max either. Max is going to stay pounding on him and not let up, be relentless. I'd like to see Conor back to his old shenanigans, but he's just not the featherweight he used to be. He's going to be a little bit heavier. His kicks aren't going to move as quick. I think Max is going to win by possibly decision.
All right. Morgans, what do you got?
I think we got the Mystic Mac round 2 TKO. And you see, yes, exactly that. I think the Mac is back. He seems clean. He looks good. He can't lose either. He lost bad to Poirier with his leg. He wants to make redemption. I think he's good on his word. He looks sober. It's his way. Yeah, we got McGregor. And I think, McGregor actually has a shot after this to kind of call where he wants to go. I mean, he's Wagyu. So he's the free-range cattle. So he can kind of call his play. And he actually could get right in there again with the title. But I mean, it depends on Conor. It's like he says every time, if his mindset's good, then he's good. But if he's not, he's not. So he could take this fight and lock back in, or he could take this fight and sink again. It's up to him. But I've got him by round 2 TKO. I would have said Max if it was 5 rounds, but
Max is a long duration fighter, and he doesn't have that opportunity. So give me the Mac Daddy.
I'm going away from Chase and Jay on this one. Sorry, I'm leaning with my boy Tommy. I think Max is just going to be way faster. And honestly, in my opinion, I never thought we would see Conor back again. Like, I didn't think that would ever happen. I've seen videos of him like working spar rounds and stuff, and he just looks like he's aged 10 years. We haven't seen him in 5, but he looks a lot slower. And let's not forget that he's probably still got to cut some weight. I'm assuming that he's walking around right now around 185, and he's got to get that weight off. So that's going to hurt him a lot. And I feel like Max is probably walking around at like 173. So Max will walk in there and he'll put a show on with his boxing. It'll look a lot like the Dustin fight, the second fight where Dustin got the TKO. So I see Max gassing out Conor, and I see him putting him away in round 2.
The second fight, Conor broke his leg. You think that's what's going to happen?
No. The second was Dustin, where Dustin got the TKO.
Okay, of the 3.
So, yeah, right.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, I see Max getting that TKO in the second round. I see his speed winning, and I see Conor maybe like falling back off, like Chase said, for a couple years and just being like around the sport. He needs to be like DC, in my opinion, and just like commentate. Don't bet against McGregor.
The Mac is back.
So Mac is back.
Well, I don't like that at all, but we're split on that one. Conor McGregor 2, and Max has 2 backing him. If he does lose, just call it a career, because if you said he's out for at least like 4 years, he'll be 42 at that point, and he's not Matt Brown. He just don't have that in him. I'm eager to see what the time off, as far as like damage accrued. He doesn't have that much, I'd say. And if we get vintage Conor McGregor, like when he beat Alvarez, that was something special. And I think that's what we're all hoping for here, is to see vintage Conor McGregor, because he put UFC on the map. Like before that, they were kind of, I watched, but people you were watching were like all heavyweights. I feel like it was all Brock Lesnar, Shane Carwin, Frank Mir. It was all heavyweights you were watching. You never watched the little guys. He put little guys on the map and UFC just because he's such a pull. He's good on the mic. Maybe Michael Chandler gets that rematch. Who knows?
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, if I'm Conor,
Michael Chandler's a solid 45.
Yeah, that's who I would want if I'm Conor, not Max Holloway.
Yeah, tin can. You want a tin can?
Yeah.
All right. So we have the card is completely done. I think it starts prelim start at 6 on Saturday. Main card starts at 9. I don't like that from Paramount, the earlier main card, but it's whatever. They don't ask me for my opinions. And I don't think anyone mentioned it either. Conor has a 5-inch reach advantage. Okay. 5 inches for someone that's 2 inches shorter. That's something. It's not nothing. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. You guys have shirts on sale with Fearless, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've seen that right there. The ad will be on the side of the screen. Make sure you hit that Cash App link up. Let them know what size in the message. They're $25. It's a steal. Those are some solid shirts.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell them Parlay or Die. Thank you. You don't get discounts, but it's nice to say it.
Yeah. It's nice to know where they came from. All right, guys. We'll be watching for your next fight announcements. We will be on the scene when y'all have one. We're waiting for that. But we'll catch you on the next card. I think the next card's in August. Numbered card. So we'll catch y'all in August.
All right, boys. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, guys.
There you go.
Raise your glass, place your bets. Saturday night, no regrets. Left hook, right hand, take down 2. Jay's got picks and Tommy does too. The odds are moving, the tempers are lit. Talk your trash and stand by it. Who wins the bout? Who gets knocked out? We made our picks, win a fight about it.